Grab the lid off a coffee cup, any Starbucks, any Dunkin, any gas station travel mug. Look at the top, there's the big sip slit, the one you drink from. And there's something else, a tiny second hole, a little vent punched into the lid, maybe an inch away. Now cover that little hole with your finger and try to drink. You'll get nothing, the coffee just sits there. Now press the lid down without the vent there and the coffee shoots straight up like a fountain. The lid could have had one hole, could have been a flat plug, could have been a sippy cup straw. Is it for steam? An aroma vent? Some manufacturing leftover? Why does your coffee lid have this little hole? Welcome to Simplified Hacks. Today we're getting to the bottom of one of the most overlooked features on every drive-through coffee in America. First, the assumption to kill. That second hole is not there to let steam out. Hot coffee in a sealed cup builds pressure so slowly that a single sip vents more steam than that hole ever could. It's not a manufacturing artifact. It's not just for the aroma, even though that's a real bonus we'll come back to. It's a deliberate piece of engineering, and it's quietly solving three completely different problems with one tiny opening, and you've never noticed any of them. Here's problem number one. The air around you weighs more than you think. At sea level, the atmosphere pushes down on everything with about 15 pounds of force per square inch. Most of the time you don't feel it, because it's pushing equally on every side of everything. But the second you start sipping from a sealed cup, you upset that balance. Your mouth creates negative pressure at the sip slit. Coffee wants to come out, but to do that, something has to come in. If air can't get in fast enough, the atmosphere outside the cup starts pushing back on the liquid through the same slit you're trying to sip from. The coffee sputters, or it just stops moving entirely. That little second hole solves it. It lets air rush in at the back while coffee flows out the front. Air in equals liquid out, two-way traffic. Otherwise, the atmosphere wins, and you stand there with your mouth on a coffee cup that refuses to drink. Now flip the problem the other way. You're holding the cup in a car, you hit a bump, you grip the cup harder, or you press down on the lid to check the seal. Without the second hole, all that pressure has nowhere to go. The cup walls squeeze the coffee, the lid blocks the top. The only exit is the sip slit, and what comes out of the sip slit is a perfectly aimed jet of hot coffee pointing right at your face. The vent prevents this. The pressure escapes from the back hole instead of the front. The geyser becomes a sigh, the shirt stays clean. And this is the part nobody talks about. That tiny vent has a third job, and it's the reason your coffee tastes the way it does. Smell is about 80% of taste. Sommeliers use this principle when they pour wine. They swirl it, sniff it, and pair the smell with each sip. Coffee lid designers ended up exploiting the same trick. The vent hole sits exactly where your nose hovers when the cup tilts toward your mouth. Volatile aroma compounds rush out through it just as you sip. Your tongue gets the coffee, your nose gets the aroma. Both arrive at the brain at the same time. Without that hole, you'd be drinking coffee through a straw with your nose blocked. Technically still coffee, tastes like nothing. So one tiny hole does three completely different jobs. It balances atmospheric pressure during sipping, it vents accidental squeeze pressure during transport, and it routes aroma compounds straight to your nose during the drink itself. That's three different physics problems: fluid dynamics, pressure mechanics, and human sensory perception, all converging on a single hole that costs the cup company nothing to punch into the plastic. Solo Cup, Dixie, Starbucks, every major lid maker independently arrived at the same answer. They don't all put the hole in the same spot, but they all put the hole there. So the next time you grab a coffee from a drive-through, take a second to find that little hole. You're not looking at a manufacturing flaw, you're looking at a calibrated two-way valve quietly running three jobs at once. A pressure equalizer for your sip, a pressure release for your grip, an aroma channel for your nose, all hidden in a piece of plastic that costs the cup company a fraction of a cent to add. That's not an accident. That's three physics problems solved by one hole, and every time you take a sip, you're using all three.